There is only one full day left of early voting in Texas, and some of those ballots could come from people currently behind bars. Texans either serving time for a misdemeanor offense or those who are in jail awaiting trial are eligible to vote. And our guest today is reporting that only 2 counties in the entire state offer voting in jail. Joining us now is Pooja Salhotra with the Texas Tribune. Pooja, thanks again for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
In your story, you reported that there are only a couple of counties that have a polling place open to people in a jail on Election Day. Remind us which counties those are and how they work that so that they can make it available to them.
Yeah, so the 2 counties that have this are Harris County and Dallas County. So obviously 2 of the largest counties in Texas. And to be clear, it's only on Election Day. So they have not been able to vote, over the past week. But on Tuesday, they set up this polling place inside of the jail, and it is open to the public. So anybody can come vote there on Election Day from the county. But it also is, a certain portion of the polling place is sectioned off to people in jail, and someone from the jail actually escorts the inmates to the polling place, and then they cast a ballot like anyone else would.
Yeah, so interesting to hear more about this. You also took a look at the numbers of Texans who are in county jails awaiting trial and are eligible to vote. What did the state share?
So we know that people who are pre-trial in jail, meaning they have not been convicted of a crime yet, they're waiting their court date or their trial, they are eligible to vote. And there are about 55,000 people in Texas jails who fall under that kind of those standards.
Yeah, so in-person voting is available to a very small group, but people confined to jail can apply to vote early by mail in Texas. What do the rules say about how that works?
So it's the same way that anyone else would apply to vote early by mail. There are certain requirements, I guess, or certain people who are eligible, and being in jail is one of the reasons that someone would be eligible to apply. That application period has already passed. That application was due on October 25th. So that does leave folks who are incarcerated between October 25th and Election Day with no real option to vote unless they do happen to be in Harris or Dallas County.
And just about an hour ago, State Senator Paul Betancourt, a Republican from Houston, tweeted about your article that you wrote today in the Texas Tribune. What was it that he said he found critical, particularly about what Harris County is doing?
Yeah, so Harris County, the sheriff's office had told me that, because one of the questions I had was, how is someone able to vote in jail if they don't have an ID? Because typically when someone is booked into jail, their property is confiscated and kind of held in storage. So they wouldn't have an ID on them, yet that is a requirement to vote. And what the sheriff's office told me when I was reporting the story was that they had worked something out with the elections office such that they were able to verify who was registered and then only bring those people down to vote and verify their identity through a wristband, and that the inmate would just show a wristband. So Senator Betancourt is saying that if that is how it works, that does not follow the election code, which requires one of 7 forms of ID. So, that is a question that I'm still trying to figure out exactly how it works. If that is the legal requirement and yet people in jail don't have an ID, how is this working? I'm still waiting to confirm from the Harris County Clerk's office kind of how they go about this. So far, they told me that they kind of repeated the law that those forms of ID are required, but then it's unclear why would they have a polling place in jail if no one has that ID. So kind of still trying to get clarity on this piece.
All right, well, we'll look forward to the answers that you dig for next. Pooja Salhotra with Texas Tribune, thank you again for being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.